Today we are talking about how to text and how to not be a dry texter. How to flirt over text, how to get your crush to like you over text, and how to communicate and be interesting over text messages. Yo, what is poppin' YouTube? It's your boy, André Sampson, and we back at it with another video on social intelligence. So if you're new to the channel, leave a like, leave a subscribe, drop a comment, tell your mom. Let's paint the picture. You finally made it to the step where you got that guy or that girl's number, and you're like, what do I do? How do I seem cool? How do I not be weird? How do I get them to respond? How can we start a conversation? And eventually, how can this conversation over text lead to a date and hopefully some other fun adult stuff? So these are 3 tips that you can use to not be dry over texting. Also, these tips are good for guys or girls. It doesn't matter what your gender is. These tips are universal. The first secret to avoid being a dry texter and how to get a response and how to flirt correctly over text messaging is not to ask basic, boring questions. So what is a basic, boring question? Hey, how's it going? What's up? How you doing? Those are boring, overused phrases that are just the basic. It's the opposite of interesting, especially to begin with. If you don't know the person that well, starts the conversation on a real lull. You might be trying to be interesting by trying to do an easy opener, but things like that hardly ever get a response because what are they gonna say? Good, bad, okay, good, how about you? Nothing much, what are you up to? It's very bland, as the most basic as you can be to start a conversation. You gotta realize that we're in this constant media age where we have communication coming at us from all angles. All of our social media and all of our text messaging to everything we're watching on the computer, all of our Netflix shows, we're constantly being bombarded by interesting media and communications and notifications. So if you're coming at someone with, hey, what's up? That is one of the worst mistakes that you can make by being boring from the get-go. Don't try to be nice, don't try to be cordial, don't try to check in on how their day is. Obviously, when the relationship begins to bear fruit and you guys know each other better, of course check in, ask them how they're doing. But when you barely know this person, you don't want to be their parent and you don't want to be their friend, really. If you're trying to attract this person over text, you want to be interesting and engaging and the opposite of boring. Tip number 2 on how to not be dry over texting is to not ask close-ended questions. And you might be thinking, Andre, what's a close-ended question? Well, this. How to keep a conversation going with anyone. Part 1. Ask open-ended questions. For example, don't say, how are you today? Say, what have you been up to today? So if you're not following me on TikTok, I would highly suggest following me on TikTok. And to expand on it, closed-ended questions are questions that you can answer with 1 word, maybe 2 words. So if you ask someone, hey, how's it going? How's your day today? You might be trying to be nice, but that's not sexy, that's not interesting, and that's not gonna spark a conversation that they can't wait to respond, and that's really what you want over text. But you don't want to associate yourself with this boring stuff. You want to be the person when they text you, they get so excited to see your name and your notification that they can't wait to respond. Open-ended questions don't lead to a yes or no or a 1-word answer. This actually leads perfectly into my 3rd tip on how to not be a dry texter. And this secret to flirt over texting and really to just to flirt in general is a little known secret that I don't really see anyone talking about. And that is, I don't really ask questions. If there's someone that you like, I wouldn't even ask them questions. Even if it was like a good open-ended question like, what have you been up to today? I'm not saying it's bad to ask questions, but a better way to communicate and to create more emotion when you're communicating is to don't ask questions, but make statements, observations, and the 3rd one, this is only for the pros, all right, is accusations. So statements, observations, and accusations. And this is like the highest level form of flirting. I could ask a good open-ended question like, what have you been up to today? And the person might say, oh, I've been doing this and then and this and this and that. But then I would have to ask another follow-up question maybe, and it's just very transactional. It's better than, hi, what's up? But it's not as good as, oh, I bet you've been binge watching The Office all day. You need to get out of bed. And boom, whoa, all right. That's a huge switch and deviation from a basic text message. Because now we're accusing them, or we're making an observation about what we know about them, and now what is this gonna do? This is gonna cause them to have an emotional reaction to your text message. So when you ask someone how their day is or what they've been up to today, there's not necessarily an emotional reaction, even though they might have to answer more. When you start making observations, accusations, and statements towards the person, you're not asking a question. And a question doesn't really evoke an emotional response. A statement does a little bit, an observation does better, and accusations do the most. Because when you tease something, what is flirting? Flirting is teasing, it's playful teasing. Playful teasing is kind of the best way to spark an attraction and to make someone respond and defend themselves. And when they defend themselves, then you've got a lively interaction. Now they're defending themselves and you're teasing them back, or they're teasing you, and that goes from there, and that's how you create a lively conversation with banter and how to not be dry. And that's how someone gets excited to look at your text message and respond to your text message, and makes them feel good inside. And that's what you want to evoke when you're trying not to be dry over text messaging. You want someone to not see your message and go, oh, I'll respond to that later. You want them to see your message and just like can't wait to respond, right? Or they're thinking of the perfect way to respond because they're excited by your message and to see your name on their phone. So that's the goal of what we're trying to accomplish here, and it's the opposite of dry texting. We're doing interesting, bold, teasing texting, and I hope that these 3 tips, and really the third secret was massive. Like, honestly, you guys shouldn't share that around. Actually, go ahead and share it with whoever you want. But like, once I started learning these tricks, my texting game improved immensely, and I got more dates, I got more girls to respond to me, and I had more relationships. And again, this isn't just for tips for guys to get girls. This is tips for girls to get guys, or girls to get girls, boys to get boys. It doesn't really matter. This is just tips for communicating in general. I hope this was very helpful for you guys. If you guys learned even a little bit, one little thing, please let me know in the comments. Tell me what your biggest takeaway was. Drop a comment, drop a like. Hey, smash that subscribe button, because that's what the YouTube algorithm likes. I love you guys. Thanks for making my life better. And this has been André Sampson, and I'll check you on the next one. Peace.